Hey everybody, hope you all are being safe. Hope you all are taking care of yourselves and doing what's necessary and keep your family safe. I want to come to you with a video today. I just read a book on yesterday by Miles Monroe that says unlock your potential. It had a lot of great nuggets inside of it. So I want to come to you about your overall potential or how we see things. That really helps us to understand or to see things bigger than what they are. For example, I have a nut. This nut I actually got from my yard, and when you look at it, what you see is simply a nut. What squirrels see is they see food and they leave these things all over my yard, or at least the shells all over my yard. But if you really thought about what this is, it's not just a nut, it's a seed. It is a seed that can produce another tree, which can produce more nuts, which can produce more trees. So when you look at this nut, you don't look at the nut for what it is right now. You look at it for what it can become, what potential it has inside of it. If it gets eaten by a squirrel, it's done. There's nothing else that can be done with it because it served its purpose at that point. But if this is planted or left and gets fertilized, by nature or whatever, that's how we have the forest that we have now. That's actually what this becomes. It can have the potential to become a forest. So in this one nut can grow a tree. The potential of more nuts from that tree is exponential. So from each one of those nuts, once again, comes more trees. And from those trees become more nuts. So what you see here as a single nut actually has the potential to be an entire forest. That's what we have to look at. So let's not look at things the way they are right now. Look at what it can become. And I look at that as well I think about that as well when we look at our kids. We look at our kids right now. We always try to look at our kids and think about what they can become. We see what they're doing now. Sometimes we don't necessarily approve and we think, oh my God, there's nothing there. This kid will be nothing. But once again, we have to look beyond what they are right now. They're developing, they're growing, just like this nut will. It'll develop. How does it develop? It's based on how it gets nurtured. So if this nut is basically on my concrete my concrete patio, it'll never live up to its expectation. But if this is in my yard, buried, and it gets the water that it needs, it begins to sprout, it begins to bloom, the rain comes, the sun hits it, all those things, that potential is now being realized. We have to do the same thing with our kids. We have to plant our kids. We have to fertilize our kids. We have to nurture our kids. We have to make sure that we're allowing them to be what they were born to be. The potential that our kids have is exponential. It is unbelievable what they can become, but in order for them to develop properly, we have to put them in the right situations. We have to make sure that we give them the nourishment mentally and physically. So yeah, we're not just talking about putting a roof over their head, feeding them, but what are we speaking into them? What are we telling our kids? What are we going in and putting in their heads? Are we telling them that they're no good? Are we telling them that they were a mistake? Are we telling them that you're just like such and such, or you'll never become anything? Or are we telling them, I'm happy that you're here. I'm proud of you. You can do anything. Don't worry about that. It's just a hurdle that we have to get through. Are we encouraging them to be the best that they can be? So we have to keep that in mind when we are nurturing our kids. And it's not even just our kids when they're younger, even when they're older, when we're looking at them as teenagers, even as adults. When you have that positive affirmation coming to you, then you are more bound to do better. If you have people speaking life into you versus death, versus negativity, then you become a more positive person. You live more to what your potential is. So let's think about that when we're going in and we're speaking. Because remember, even the Bible says that our words have powers. We can speak life or death into a situation. We can do that into people's lives as well. We can speak life or death into people's lives as well. So we have to make sure that when we are addressing people, whether we're talking about our kids or just people as a whole, we are speaking life and we're not speaking death. We want to take this seed that is inside of here or inside of our children or inside of our friends, inside of our families, and we want to nurture that. We want to make sure that we give them what they need to become all that they can become. So once again, when you look at a seed, whether you're looking at this single seed here, you're looking at your 3 kids, you're looking at your coworkers, you're looking at your family members, whatever it may be, let's look at them beyond where they are now and think about what they can become. And all they need is a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of encouragement to help them to overcome that simple hurdle that's in their way. So once again, let's use our words and let's use our motivations to help people to overcome what their current situations are, to understand there's greater things around them. They don't have to be victims of their environment. Some people aren't in the best environments, but that doesn't mean they have to stay there. We let them know that yes, you are bigger than where you are now. This seed I just picked up, it was just laying in my yard. It may have been on my patio. If I take this seed and put it back into the yard, let it once again get nourished, eventually it will become a tree. I may not see it right away, but as we always say, we've planted the seed. Now we have to go through and nurture that seed. So let's do that with all those that we come in contact with. So think about it. Think about your words. Think about your actions. Think about how we engage with other people. So let's be positive influences on people. Let's help nurture their seeds. Ready, set,